Hello, everyone. Welcome to MindBody TV. I am so excited to be here. I'm Dr. Kim Duramo, and I'm going to share today about aligning with your true path, which sounds a little generic, but it is the most important thing that we can possibly focus on. And right now, at this time when things are really speeding up, in case you haven't noticed, which it's like impossible not to notice, it is even more important to be in alignment, because it's like if you're moving fast in a car and your alignment's off, it's going to mess things up a lot. But if you're at like jet speed and your alignment's off, even just like a fraction of a degree, it's going to be a catastrophe. And we are really moving like beyond the speed of light right now with how much have been speeding up. So I wanted to share today about this inner alignment, how being on your aligned path, even if you don't know what it is, like, well, who am I really here to be from the point of the mind, that this inner alignment is really easy to find. It's a simple thing to do, but it's that shift from aligning with focusing on everything outside of us and trying to make it how we want it to be, versus remembering that as within, so without. And that my inner alignment is the thing that matters first, second, third, and all of it, to allow an alignment of everything coming up in my life. So I will share some things with you on how to do this. And welcome to everyone who's joining live. I love hearing where everyone is from. And hi, Randy and Susan, Nicole, Karen, Medina, Alex, Kate, Emily. And welcome to everyone who is listening to the recording or to the MindBody TV podcast. For those of you who don't know me, I was an emergency medicine physician in my prior life, but have since really come into a great awakening. It actually began when I was really, really young, which has allowed an evolution into something else entirely, something I really didn't understand when it first came in, of like, how am I going to be operating in the world? What am I going to be doing? No one's going to understand that. But by following in my heart and being in my own alignment, it allowed really miraculous things to be created for me in who I am now in my career as a physician, assisting people all over the world with using my intuitive awareness and being able to read people's energy and read people's body and know emotionally what's going on and what's holding things back for your health, for your wealth, for your life being expressed in full abundance. So it's a really beautiful way of practicing medicine now, because it's the core of what has been keeping so many people in patterns of illness with chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia and autoimmune disease and all kinds of digestive problems and inflammatory disorders, neurologic problems, as well as anxiety and depression. And so it's really been through my own personal journey of my own expansion and connecting with my heart and honoring it and allowing all the crap to be released and all the fear to be let go, that I've been in my own alignment more and more fully in my own clarity. And it's created amazing things in my life. So I'm so excited to be here. Welcome to MindBody TV. Hi, Kate from Detroit. Teja from Finland. Cool. I've not been to Helsinki, Finland. I've not been there before. That's going to have to add that to the list. Nicole, this is so perfect for me today since I'm making so many changes. Well, that's beautiful. And I think for all of us, there are so many changes coming in, whether we're like actively making changes or like kind of resisting the change, but they're happening anyway. I learned a beautiful lesson about change a few months back when my nanny, we had a local person who's a sweetheart, and she was a nurse and had been a nurse before and just loved my little boy, told me she was leaving. And she felt so bad about telling me, because she's like, she didn't want to let me down. And her whole life was really about serving others and what do they need and being of value to others, but like really hadn't honored herself. And she said, I know I'm not one of your clients, but just being around here and hearing you talk to women and hearing you do your work, it's really rubbed off on me. And I've begun to honor myself as never before and look at what I need and what I want. And I'm so sorry to tell you this, but I'm leaving. And I was immediately filled with so much like joy and anticipation of like, wow, what's next? Something amazing must be coming in for both of us, because it was such a true honoring of herself that it can't not create an expansion for me as well. And in that very same time, it was like the following week, I ran into another woman who I really, really liked, and she had done some nannying, and I was like, oh my God, it'd be amazing if she was going to be our nanny. And she said, well, I am thinking of leaving my job, and I would love to embrace a new opportunity, and I'll, come and nanny for you. So I was like, oh, this could be a fit. We'll look into this. And a couple of days later, she told me, there's just so much change happening for me and this job, and then moving, and because she'd have to be in a different area to be here. There was so much fear of change, and she's like, I'm not sure I can really commit. And I was like, wow, this is really interesting, the way that she's responding to change versus the way I've chosen to respond to change. Change is inevitable, and it's speeding up and speeding up and speeding up. And so if we can get into alignment with embracing that change is assisting us, change is bringing us all of what our heart is desiring, even if it looks like things are falling away before we see what's coming in. So it was a really beautiful thing for me to see how much joy came in that moment of like change, which is like, I'm not going to have a nanny anymore. Oh my gosh, my life's going to fall apart. I've got to find somebody. Everything is standing upon this foundation that I'm supported with my child being taken. I didn't do any of that. I totally stayed in the knowing of like, what else is possible? And we do have an amazing, beautiful woman who is like family, and it couldn't be more awesome for me. So I've received even more as a result of her honoring herself and leaving. So great for everyone who's embracing change. Kate says, by the way, your speech to the Conference of Doctors last month, posted on YouTube, was inspiring and wonderful. I learned so much. Definitely TED Talk material. Thank you. I posted that if people want, maybe Jessica can put it in the comments here. But it was about how your passion heals your body and your patients, which is a really essential message for doctors to learn, because we've really learned to take ourselves out of the equation, and then it's all about serving everyone else. It's all about doing for everyone else. And that is not alignment. That's not going to work. It will only deplete us, and we can't really give from depletion. We can't allow healing to flow through when we're in depletion. I actually just created a video for the Awaken Your Business collaborative that we're going to launch it in like a week or two. And it was just exactly about this, how I've got to be the #1 recipient of my business. I can't make my business be about serving everyone else and leave myself out of the equation. So this is really part of the alignment of what we're speaking to today, is you being the biggest recipient of everything that's going on in your life and of every choice you make, because you can only be a contribution to others when you are lit up in your own vitality, in your own fulfillment. So you've got to notice and honor and cherish yourself before you can be of value to anyone. So I'm glad you liked that talk. I'm glad I posted it. It was a really interesting experience to speak this same message in front of a group of doctors, albeit osteopathic doctors, but doctors who really are not speaking this conversation maybe ever, versus how it's been received in my community. So it's I'm so grateful that I have created the space where I can be me and share my message so fluidly. Medina says, from California, living in Lagos, Nigeria, always such a joy to see you and hear your voice. Nicole, yes, it's been so hard trying to ease through this. Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. Right now, it's been really, really rocky when things are going so fast. If there are things you've held that are based in fear or separation or lack, all of those things are going to blow up right now and be really loud and really overwhelming, because life is inviting you to know you are powerful enough to live beyond them. You are powerful enough to let them transmute. I had an amazing awakening experience the other day and met these energies, like where everything that was coming up was just too much. And it's like, Kim, you're never going to move through this. It's hopeless. You're not strong enough. This is too big. And I wrote it, thankfully, so I could get it out of here and into, the 3D outside reality. And I was like, wow, I definitely don't believe that. I know there's infinite power that can come through me, and that nothing is stronger than that. So even though I don't know how, what if I allow that to come through and transmute all of this and let this experience release, which it did beautifully and pretty rapidly. And it was one of the most extraordinary experiences I've had. I will definitely be talking more about that. Rachel, I absolutely loved the talk in Chicago too. So inspiring, just fabulous. Thank you. Joanne, hi from Chicago. Okay, Natasha, I thought the same thing when I watched it. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad everyone really resonated with that talk. And Jessica, I think, would you just post the title of it and the link? Yes, things are so fast. It's so overwhelming. Oh my gosh. Okay, so how do we come into alignment while we're moving at light speed? Because there are a lot of tools I teach. And if you practice them, if you practice the instant elevation, then when you're in your super intense moment, it's easy to call on what you've already begun to integrate. But if you're learning these tools and it's like, yeah, that's all well and good, and then only in moments of intense anxiety or fear that you're trying to find them, it's harder. They'll still work. It will be a little more challenging to move through it. So one of the things, and I've begun, a daily meditation practice so that I, especially in this time, am really anchoring into my own alignment. And one of the things I realize is that the more like out of alignment I feel, the less I want to do that meditation or sit with it. The more I'm busy and chaotic and out of alignment, the more I'm distracted by the stuff. And it's like, oh, no, I don't have time to do it. I'll meditate later because right now I got to get this work done. And it's such a total cluster because chaos never needs stillness, needs our attention. So I've like gone back to go with that 30 minutes a day and do whatever breathing exercise. And I do some really beautiful harmonizations that I learned from Sylvie Olivier, who's one of my greatest mentors. And I just let it be what it is. It's not perfect. I don't always come into this like unending state of peace, but I do come into way more stillness and ease and joy. And it makes a huge difference in my day because I've already anchored it in, so I can do my day in alignment much more easily and not be thrown off by what's happening, because there's a lot that's happening and you'll feel it way more intensely than usual. Okay, so as a fifth dimensional being, this is a little bit of like a lesson we need to understand about where we're beginning to operate from. We have what are called sensory neurites in our heart. We're more and more tuning into that and less tuning into what's going on in the brain and the mind in our awareness. So meaning as you become more aware and awakened, you are more sensitive to what's being registered at the heart. So the heart is registering the opportunities and possibilities and new things that are here for you. And so you might not see them or understand them, but you'll feel this inner desire of like, I don't want to do this old job anymore. I want to do something else. Well, what do you want to do? I have no idea, but there's something else. And so it's like, well, I'm going to leave my job. You're crazy. You can't leave your job. You don't have something lined up yet, but you're registering in the level of the heart. And if you follow the heart, like the very next day, the new thing will appear. But it's tricky because we get so distracted by the here and now, by the 3D reality, by the mind, to think that that is real. And for me, include the this is how I feel distraction that makes us think that that's real. So if I feel hopeless and then I think it really is hopeless, I'm really not okay, I really don't have this power within me that things can be, transmuted. If I believe it just because I feel it, I'll kind of stay in that energy a whole lot longer. So it's really about, and I shared this on the Embracing Health call yesterday, put your hand on your heart. Is that even true? Truth. Is that even true? So you just state the word truth. What's really true here? And you'll immediately snap out of it like, frick, no. There is infinite power. I am so aware of it. Not just I believe it, like I have lived it in so many unthinkable ways that truly incomprehensible things have happened in my life, in my love life, in my body healing within freaking days from this crazy autoimmune illness that was like years. in my relationships with other people, even just getting pregnant in the way that that took place. It's just way beyond any billionth of a chance that the logistical world could work that way. It doesn't. There's something higher. So when I invite that in, amazing miracles always happen. So I'm not going to buy it that it's hopeless, it's not okay. It's like, wow, this is just the frequency I'm in, and it will sound true, and it will feel true, and it will look true. But if I connect within in the space of the heart, I can receive something higher, and then I can let that guide me into something totally different. Randy says, I'm so open to choosing this alignment even more. I'm at my wit's end and being able to understand where I am, not where I'm not honoring or choosing myself, because I thought I had been more than ever. And yet I'm still either not drawing in the right kind of men, or when I do, even this week, I get ghosted again. One of the things you're doing though is you're making yourself wrong when these things happen. So then you get ghosted and the guy runs away and you're like, oh, I must still not be in alignment. I must not be doing it right. No, celebrate yourself unconditionally. Leave them better than you found them, and always cherish yourself and give space to your pain if you feel disappointed about it. But don't keep making yourself wrong for these things that are happening. They're not happening because of the wrongness of you. They're just what's happening, and it's a lot of old patterns falling away rather than old patterns because you're in that alignment now. So just let that whole thing go. Even when I feel like I'm really trusting in my alignment, I just don't see. What am I not getting? Yeah, so don't go into that. You're on it. Just know that you know, and celebrate all of it. Like, okay, that guy went away because my commitment to my alignment is so strong that someone who's, maybe, it would have maybe like 3 or 6 months, I would have mucked around with it before it ended, and inevitably we went our separate ways. And now it's like 3 dates or 30 seconds. And because my alignment is so strong, there's clarity for me of who I am. And so anything not aligned with that is falling away even more quickly. Thank you, Jessica, for putting that. But what's the title of that talk? Okay, and then I got Melanie, big smile from Germany. Love it. Paul, hello from sunny New York. Okay, here we go. Haley, I love that you said stillness needs our attention. I've been dealing with dizziness and balance issues for years, and it makes so much sense to heal. I would need to give my attention more to the stillness than to the chaos in my body. Maybe I can let go of needing to have a perfect balance. Oh yeah. Well, we've just created a quiz, and Jessica, will you share the link? Because I don't know what the link is, but this is a way to bring you through some more awareness about what's going on in your body, what's going on just in how you tick, and what will source you the most. So then I created some videos, depending on which category you fall into, that will give you some new perspectives about what's going on for you. So it's on drkimd.com. It's on the website. If you just go to drkimd.com, there's a link right on that front page for the quiz. And I would love to hear what your results are, or what, how that video serves you. And then there's a couple emails that you'll get, and the insight that it brings to assist you in nurturing yourself more and coming into alignment. So at drkimd.com, that quiz is now active, and you can go and take the quiz. Natasha says, this works for me with the everyday things as well. We were traveling by car. I was exhausted and needed a hotel to stay for the night. I just trusted that my guidance knew it would be okay. Well, this is so funny how this works. She says, I asked on a campground, and the woman there called around to help on her way. Woohoo! But what is happening when I honor myself in the big decisions like career and nothing shows up? Well, it isn't that nothing is showing up. It's just that what's showing up isn't what you expected, or on the timeline you expected. So get out of expectation of what it would look like if you are in alignment. Just like Randy, she's like, but it looks like this, so I must be doing something wrong. Like, no, you are amazing and goddess and genius. I receive all things with grace and ease, but it's in the timeline that's right for me, and it's in the way that's right for me. So I don't always get what I want, but I always get what I truly require. So sometimes what I require is something that I didn't really like, but it is assisting my journey and my expansion, so I ultimately do receive what I most deeply want. So I had this experience with my husband last week, and we were going skiing in the morning, and he's getting his equipment together. And the baby, you know, playing all around, he's running around everywhere, and he always goes into certain drawers and he's picking things up. So Mario came back in and he's like, oh my God, where's my battery? So this battery for his boot warmer. I can't find my battery. Well, where was it? Oh, yeah, right there. Well, the baby, he's playing around. He's like, yeah, I bet the baby took it. Okay, I'll look around. And he's frustrated and he's annoyed. Oh, I can't believe I can't find it. No. Where is it? It's over here. I can't find my battery. I'm like, he's so irritated. I was like, we'll find it. We'll find your battery. It's fine. No, but I need to find it now because we're leaving now. I want it today. And I just kept filling into it. I was like, you're going to find your battery. It's all good. You'll find, it's cool. It's not cool. I got to find it. No. He was so irritated. And I was really in this awareness, like, this is easy. We don't have to stress about this. And yes, we'll have it now before we go. So I'm breaking breakfast and doing my thing. And I kept kind of like inviting him into like, Mart, like, we can get what you need. Yeah, I know, but will you help me look? And, you know, I looked there already and I looked here already and I'm not finding it. I already looked everywhere. So he's getting all worked up. Finally, he sat down and I was like, you know, if you're in ease, you can receive it, what you need. And he, you know, it's always hard to hear that because you're so frustrated that you're like, no. So he sat down, he took a few deep breaths, and it was like a minute. And he goes, I know where it is. And he stood up. This is after like an hour. And he stood up and he walks into, you know, our room and he comes out. He goes, I have my battery. And I'm like, I know you would. He goes, do you know where it was? I'm like, no. He goes, I sat down, I relaxed. Because he's like, I already let it go. I'm like, if you just let it go, like, you're going to find it. Yeah, no, I let it go. Forget it. I don't even need my battery. Forget it. But that's not the same as non-attachment. That's like a miffed detachment. Like, forget it. I just won't have my battery. He wasn't happy. So when he finally just like settled his system, like, it was 1 minute. And he had the total awareness of like, oh my God, I know the draw that Gianni's always playing in when Kim's getting ready in the bathroom. And he pulled up my top makeup drawer and it was like right there stuck in the, we hadn't even looked there, but it was like right there on the top. So he goes, I knew exactly where it was, like just like that. But you've got to come into the mental state where you can access what you know before you can consciously be aware of it. And so that's alignment. Even 2% more alignment will give you like 10 to the 200th% more awareness. Nancy says, what if we're feeling hopeless, but we don't have the past experience of power, like what you spoke of? I don't know what the truth is. It doesn't matter. You don't need a past experience because you can access a now experience. So if you just put your hand on your heart and feel the hopelessness, tell the one who feels hopeless, it's okay to feel exactly what you're feeling right now. All the ways we make hopelessness wrong because we think it's real. No, be positive, because we're afraid of hopelessness, because we think if we fall into it, it's an endless pit of despair, because inevitably it really is hopeless. But it's not even true. So you can actually surrender to that hopelessness, let yourself be in it and feel it, but willingly and consciously. Willingly meaning it's okay to feel what I feel. Consciously meaning I'm willing to feel and have this experience, like a sensory experience. Feel what you feel physically and breathe. And then you can always, like, once some of it moves, just put your hand on your heart and say, truth, is this what's actually true for me? And something higher will come in, or just a lightness will come in. But you've got to just be willing to feel it and not buy into the idea that it's real. Because feeling it is a sensory experience. That's all it is. It's like, do I want to resist feeling this? Do I want to resist having this experience, or am I willing to have this experience? Randy says, oh gosh, thank you. I so get this. Yes. Yay. Great. Well, because what will create the partnership you want with a man, like that man who's the ideal man for you, wants a woman who unconditionally shows up for herself, who unconditionally celebrates herself. And that's also for your children too. That's going to be the mom that they really need, is a woman who will unapologetically celebrate herself. We don't need a reason to celebrate ourselves. Like, well, I'm 1 year older today, so let's have a party. Or, hey, I just got a bonus at work, so I achieved this thing. Like, celebrate yourself just for showing up. And I did post this video on YouTube called The Visiting Dignitary, because we talked about it in the Embracing Health group yesterday. And I thought this is something I want to share with everyone. So that is up on my YouTube channel, and it's awesome. Grace Kane, yeah, The Visiting Dignitary. It's an exercise to cherish and celebrate the goddess in you. Grace says the adventure of individual and collective reawakening is a constant and organic flow full of calibration and balance. I find automatic patterns evolving naturally, the cohesive alignment of earth, air, and solar in perfect partnership. That was poetic. Yes, we are very connected with the earth. And so with the acceleration of the earth's electromagnetic frequency, the Schumann frequencies, dramatically accelerated. This is affecting us and assisting our awakening. Jessica, okay, so there is the link for the quiz, but you can go to drkimd.com and it's right there on the page. Okay, Sally, hey Kim, anything to lift your mood? I don't know what that exactly means, but give me some more clarity on what you're asking for. Natasha, thank you. Bolak, thank you, Kim, for being so courageous to step forward and speak this truth. I'm another physician who's come to an inflammatory autoimmune disease, and I'm being forced now to learn about and accept who I really am, what my own truth is, and how to care for and love myself. Finally, I can't tell you how much it means to know I'm not alone. Thank you. This is awesome. One of the videos in the collaborative, the Awaken Your Business collaborative, is getting created like right now. We'll probably launch it in a week. But one of these is about how we have to have the courage to step into who we are. So as like a higher dimensional being or a fifth dimensional being, it's not the same as a conventional doctor and how we've been taught to think or act or behave or operate, where we're really taught like you've got to be in the mind and already know everything. But every doctor knows that they really don't already know everything, so they kind of secretly feel like I've got to be good enough, I've got to be better, I've got to keep it together, I've got to learn more, I've got to do more, and it's very depleting because it isn't, healing comes through us, not from us. So if we keep being that kind of doctor, yes, it gets us societal acceptance, it gets us, maybe there's this like security in it. There's a lot of things that we might buy into. But for me, it was excruciating, like intolerable to continue to live like that. So I had to peel off layer after layer after layer of any ways that I was still anchored into that reality. And then with this huge breakthrough that just happened, and I wrote a blog about it, and we'll be sharing more of that. It was like, wow, I've got to let go of any last remnants where I'm trying to operate in that world. And it came up in really weird ways, like with my family, and maybe me, will they get me? Well, I don't need it anymore. Like most people won't and don't. And it's okay, because I no longer require that to feel confident about myself. So I was able to like let that last layer of where I was anchored into that reality go. And because we are energetic beings, it freed up so much space for me to receive even more of who I am and anchor into this truth. So now it's like all of the creativity that's been happening, because it's been unthinkable how much creativity has come in the last like 5 months, where I'm like, how am I going to create all 40 things like this in a week? But now I can operate that fast and that fluidly and that boom, 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 and create to that degree of what's being asked of me or what I'm being invited to. And it's 8 zillion times more fun and fulfilling for me to do it this way. So thank you, Bolak. And I definitely invite you to connect more fully and receive whatever will benefit you. Mary Eve. My year started with a major curveball, the end of my partnership. Prior to this breakup, I was feeling well, but the grief of this loss has created a health setback. I'm doing my best to allow myself to grieve, but I also know I need to choose to love, enjoy, and feel well again. So grief will move within, I mean, sometimes 12 seconds, maybe it's 5 minutes, but it will move when it's given enough space to move. So if you're like, all right, grief, enough is enough, let's get back to joy and love, I need joy and love, it's actually going to inhibit that energy from just flowing. Your natural state is joy and love. So if you honor grief unconditionally, you'll find it will move much more fluidly and you don't need to stay there. I'm having trouble letting go, even if I know it's probably my highest and best interest to move on. So take a few deep breaths. Yeah, you're having trouble letting go because part of you actually thinks, take a few breaths. Just breathe, girl, you're doing great. Part of you actually thinks it could have worked out differently. So it's not even that you necessarily, there is clarity that that partnership couldn't really go where you're ready to go, but you haven't really committed to yourself and who you are and what you're really ready for. So then it still feels like you could be with that person and you should be with that person. This is not only, like you said, it's probably in my highest and best interest to move on, but it's really a calling to yourself. It's an invitation to, because your energy is creating something beyond that relationship. So it's like if you just honor who you are and honor your own energy, it will really allow you to anchor into something much more beautiful. Hi, I know, I'm back. I am sorry. It just cut out. So it stopped. But I still have the, oh no, all the comments just went away. Okay, that closed out. So I have to wait for people to ask questions again. I saw Kara had a question on there. I didn't read it yet though, so let me see if it comes up on my computer. Anyway, I will go either way and go into to answer those comments that were on the first live, and we'll put this together and splice it together. But anything else that's coming up about this, I can share. Okay, here we go. 86 comments. We had a lot of comments. Okay, so the video stopped. I really wanted to hear what you were saying. Be here. I'm Dr. Kim Duramo. Sorry, and this is getting a little messy. All right, don't worry. I'm here anyway. All right, so yeah, I'm back. Where are the comments? Real time. No. Oh my God. Sorry, everybody. Okay, Marta said, I'm so grateful you're open and receptive questioning MD. It's healing for me to experience your presence. That's a huge piece, and I'm actually a DO, but I did an MD residency, so I kind of had both. But that is a huge piece of what I'm aware of as practitioners, that our presence is what imparts that quality, that transmission that allows other people to heal. If we're in a frequency of despair or distress or self-suppression, it can't come through, which is one of the biggest reasons why our healthcare system isn't working. We're moving too fast. We need way too much. Okay, so here we go. Marie. Kara, hi Kim, I'm so glad I made it to this live talk. Well, hopefully you got back in. This is definitely my topic. I'm 3 months into my freedom, having left my high-powered, high-stress job that became a toxic environment and unfulfilling. And also, you know, Kara, as you begun to welcome in the essence of freedom, it's creating your awareness like, I am out of that job. That's not going to work. But as you continue to stay with it, it will welcome in a new job or a new career or a new thing. So sometimes when something falls away, we go back into fear because we're like, nothing new is here. I'm not okay. What have I done? So really just keep anchoring into that same space of, I know that I know, and I honor myself implicitly. And it will welcome, hi Kara, it will welcome in something new. So it's a continuum, the process of what's falling away and then the process of what's coming in and being created. It's the same thing, but it looks like totally different things. It's like, oh my God, my world is falling apart and why isn't it coming together? So just stay in that center of, I honor myself implicitly. It's okay for me to embody and embrace freedom, because as you do, it will invite in something totally new. She says, as you know, I made an uncharacteristic and bold choice to walk away. Yeah, that uncharacteristic is the truth of the essence of you, and it's totally not the like the ego you of who you were being, or the one who you were trying out, that's not even you. So it's uncharacteristic of that persona, but of the true freaking Kara, you are a warrior. You are amazing. You will always choose what's right for you. Just like the lioness love that you have for your daughter, you'll begin to have that same unconditional, bold love for you, bold honoring of you. That's the truth of your heart. So yeah, it's uncharacteristic of who you were being, because you were not in the alignment of this core of you. From the big paycheck, the identity that had been what I clung to for so long, the security, the familiar, I had always made the safe choice, but my heart, my body, everything was telling me this was not serving me anymore. I felt there was more for me, more happiness, more peace, more love, more balance. The challenge, I don't know what that is yet, but I've been using the tools we've worked on together, trying to connect with my heart and essence. I'm going to buzz through this. I've had so many examples, like doing the one-on-one with you. I'm so grateful for the space and ease now to take time for me and my daughter. I've met incredible people. I've been networking and felt I was received and celebrated just for being my authentic self. I've still not had a love interest come into the picture. Oh, what is her name? There's a woman, I'm going to put you in touch with someone who, she had a session with me, and it was like the very next day, met the love of her life. And they were going to, talking about having children and family and all that. But she was really in the hopelessness of like the despair. It is never going to happen for me. And we moved that energy, and so opened so much for her. It was really amazing. And there's really a lot more of you for you to make space for. And as you make space to celebrate, love, and cherish you, you can do the visiting dignitary exercise I just posted on YouTube yesterday. It will allow a beautiful man to come in and be a part of that equation with you. And I don't know the timeline for that, but I know that right now it's really serving you to practice being present to yourself unconditionally. So I would just use this time to like, this is for me to practice being with me, for me to practice loving and cherishing me. Hi, Mary Eve. You will just have to rewind, because I did speak to your question in the beginning of when I came back in. Kara says, I do have an inner knowing that all will be okay, and it will reveal itself to me. And when I do have those down days and the fear and doubts creep in, which they do, I tap or meditate or just breathe. Awesome. Okay, beautiful. Ivy, I'm working on releasing frustration with my kids. It happens quickly for me. I visualize the crazy energy moving through me so I can stay open to helping them in my best way from my higher self, not my frustrated self. It's hard, but it's so worth it. I do have a kids program that's going to come out in June, so stay tuned for that. It's been a while in the making, but it's a really powerful resource for parents. Pamela says, I feel there's something magical just out of my reach. I feel stuck in my anxiety and pain, struggling to break free. Well, that's the sensory neurites of the heart that sense possibility and expansion. And it's like, ooh, and then we bump up against all the way that we've said, no, that can't happen. I can't have this. That's too big. I should stay here. I should be safe. So you're going to feel those limitations more tangibly, but the only reason you're feeling them is because you're expanding beyond them. So invite, I guess, the tension as it's arising, like, I'm willing to feel this. I'm willing to become aware of the pain it's caused me, to hold whatever these limiting beliefs are, known and unknown, and to allow them to transmute, and then just take 10 breaths and let the energy come through. Okay, I do want to invite everyone again to the quiz. It's on drkimd.com. So there's a few different sort of categories, and you'll get a little more clarity about what will assist your alignment the most. And then different invitations. There's a video that I've created about that, that will just kind of give you a little more awareness around that. We do have the retreat coming up in the first weekend of June. It's about health, wealth, and wholeness, and how embodying wholeness does create health and wealth. Really, really powerful way of doing this work. Definitely coming to work together live is the most powerful way to like drink this up cellularly, even if you're like new to this work or don't understand it, and to really allow a massive completion. And we have a group call live on Friday for questions about the retreat. So
same time or is it noon? We'll send an email about that. But it's this Friday. Jess, is it noon or is it at 11 Mountain? Let me think for a sec. I can't remember how we did it. But you'll be invited to that through the email. You'll have a link, and it's going to be in the MindBody community. You can join me live for that Q&A about the upcoming retreat and working together live. And I'll also just be talking about, this same thing, operating in a higher dimension and letting your system access something way higher. So the retreat is at drkimd.com/retreat, and you can get more information. I know there's a ton of questions that have been asked, but we are going to complete here. Thank you, Natasha. Awakening to the truth and courage and standing up for myself. Beautiful. And thank you, Jessica. Okay, 11 Mountain Time on Friday. So that's 1 o'clock Eastern this Friday, or it's 10 o'clock Pacific. And wherever you are in the world, you are welcome to come. We will record it, so you'll have that. But send in your questions if you're like, oh, I'm really inspired to do this work, but oh, I don't think I have enough money. Or oh, I'm really inspired to do this work, but what about this or what about that? There may be really strange questions that seem strange, but it will access you to something deeper insight. So you're welcome to join, and if this is resonating with you, I'd love to have you and love to help you to see beyond maybe limitations that seem like, oh, I can't do that, or that's not for me. If there's a yes and an inspiration, there's a path. So tune into that space of the heart and just keep asking, what would it take for me to receive this? What would it take for me to step into this? What would it take for me to effortlessly receive all I need to choose the things that really assist me the most? And I know Kara has done a retreat with me before, so maybe you can share a little bit about that, because I know it was a pretty amazing experience for you. And yeah, I'm at drkimd.com. You can take the quiz, and I'm kind of excited to see what you think of that journey and how we put that together and what insights you gain from that. Lots of love. I'll see you Friday if you come to the Q&A, 11 Mountain. The link again is drkimd.com/retreat. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.